Alright, human. Up and at 'em. It's time to get started. Oh, come on. Don't groan at me. You probably haven't even woken up enough to remember where you are yet. Get up. There we go. That got you back from Dreamland. I do hope you rested well. Today's the day we get into the meat of it all. Since we basically had to write yesterday off as a loss, we need to work extra hard to make up for lost time. Surely you understand. Oh. And speaking of meat, I brought you breakfast. Lucky you, I'm not sure how well behaved you're going to be, though. Are you going to be civil and have breakfast with me? Or am I going to have to feed you your breakfast? I'd have to put an awful lot of trust in you not to try and attack me or flee. Do you want to promise me you'll behave? As long as you're not feeding me. I suppose that's fair. I didn't want a big bad vampire touching me either. Though, do note, if you even think of doing anything daft, I might have to go back on our little arrangement. So just eat. I'll fill you in on the agenda this evening. It's nothing too extravagant. Just instant oatmeal with some microwave sausage. It should fill you up for a while. The spoon is already in the bowl, so eat up. And since I also have a meal to be eating, we can discuss over breakfast. Though, I suppose this would be your dinner, right? Breakfast for dinner. How fun. It's almost domestic. Is it drugged? I'm hurt. I went through all this effort to provide a meal I'm not obliged to give you, and you question my act of kindness. Last time I do anything. The last sausage on the left. Everything else is safe. I wouldn't put in your oatmeal. Oatmeal is already gross enough. And dear, believe it or not, I have standards. I just needed a blood sample, and you obviously weren't going to cooperate. Nothing awful, just a sedative to help me take the blood from you. You wouldn't have awakened had I done it to you while you were naturally resting, so I had to get creative with my options. Though, I suppose, now that you know this, you probably won't be eating the rest. But I swear it was just that one link if you were hungry enough to still eat it. Scout's honor. Why can't I just bite you to get the blood sample? That is just plain unsanitary, not to mention inconvenient. Most humans already have some sort of medicine running through their veins these days, so I could simply account for the medication in your system and get the information I need. Besides, feeding from one of my experiments is practically unfathomable. In this stage, at least. Perhaps later, in this little game of ours. But as of now, that's a hard no. What am I eating then? Now that's a stupid question. What else would I be eating? Though, as previously mentioned, I don't like to feed from my little lab rats if I don't have to. Especially with all the chemicals you're stuffed with. So, I got myself a pouch from the reserves before I came to see you. Nothing beats the fresh stuff, but beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. Anyway, if you're done questioning my totally ethical work regimen, I'd love to start debriefing now. It's just going to be a series of questions, since I didn't get to ask them last night due to your little setback. And once again, I implore you to answer honestly, because this isn't going to be easy for you if you're not yada 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 whatever. You want to ask me questions? You're in quite a position to be making demands of me. Though, that curiosity of yours is what makes this much more interesting. So, I can't say I'm too mad about it. I'll indulge you. I just need to get my work done first. Deal? Good. I'll give you, say, 5 questions starting now. Don't waste them. If you ask questions about what I ask you, that's a question, by the way. When I say starting now, I mean starting now. Yes, that is a ploy to get you to answer my questions without questioning me. 4 questions left, dear. Use them wisely. I thought you were smarter than that. Now, question 1. Age and date of birth? You're a bit younger than your little friends, huh? That runt of the litter, perhaps? How cute. Oh, if looks could kill, darling, I'd be a dead man. Or rather, a deader man. Anyway, question 2. Any medical complications I need to be aware of? Mental health issues are just as important, if not more so. No shame in sharing. Alright then. And one more question. Though this is more for me than the sake of the experiment. What made you join the Vampiric Hive Mind Liberation Front? Very insulting name, by the way. What made you decide to go against our carefully constructed facade? It's not like you humans are treated poorly under our rule. You hadn't even realized we had taken over until it was already over with. Not that you were around when that happened, around a century and a half ago. You have the illusion of free will, and that keeps you chugging along. But it's only bothering you because you're the only ones who have to be painfully aware of your existence under us. The burden of knowing your place in reality is truly a heavy one. You felt like like you belonged there. Oh, darling. When you're immune, there is no place where you belong. The world doesn't stop spinning simply because you see its axis. And if you happen to join a group of misfits, then you all don't belong. You say you're trying to liberate the human race, but they don't need liberation, sweetheart. They need mundane, everyday complacency, and you and your little group are disturbing the peace. To them, you are the enemy. So, why even bother, You say you know they don't mean that, but do you really? You think you and your group are the only immunes out there? No, not at all. There are others out there that know what's good for them. Really, it sounds like you decided to go against the grain because you felt left out. But how much effort did you even put in to fit in? And what are you planning to do when everyone is, quote-unquote, liberated anyway? You all don't have the physical means of destroying us, or uprooting your place in society from beneath our thumbs. You're wasting your energy on a fruitless endeavor that's going to get you all killed. You should just give in now while you can do it willingly. It saves you the crushing defeat of failure. I don't care, frankly, and I'm not acting like I am. I'm just considering what would be the easiest for my work, that is all. You sure love to think this is something else, don't you? I'm doing my job, human. And if I can't inject my goals into you, the least I can do is try to talk some common sense into you. I'm saving you. Look, I don't need to justify myself to you. You are here as my prisoner, my experiment. You are lucky you're getting as much room to talk as I'm giving you. Now, on that note, I think it is your turn to ask me your 4 questions. Oh, right. Your original goal was to find your friends. I had completely forgotten. Well, what I had done to your friends was different. Telling you what I had done to them would take quite a while, considering each of them had their own special variables I had to take into consideration. Though, they each had different results with a promising common denominator. They're separated from each other, just as I've separated you from them. So, rest assured, you're not going to be left out of some lab rat slumber party. Though even if you were to find them, I doubt they want anything to do with you. I mean, you are the enemy now. And do that with what you will, because I don't plan on elaborating further. Next question. Do I like my work? Well, does anyone like working? I simply do what I've been assigned. I don't think I can say I hate my job, though. Sometimes I run into interesting humans that give me ways to have fun with my work, as you are doing now. Other times, I get stuck with the human equivalent of a wet cardboard. Then I can say I hate my job, or those who whine too much. Mr. Solomon, please. I promise I'll be a good functioning member of society, please. Just don't inject me anymore with that strange liquid. It hurts my head. It was cute at first, but sometimes it just makes me feel bad. Not enough to let them leave, obviously, but more in a way I would want to put them out of their misery faster. Like seeing a sick animal. Or sometimes I'd push them too far and they simply didn't make it. Then I'd feel bad. Such a waste. Rest assured, human, your friends are very much alive. I've gotten much better at my work since I was an apprentice. That was, say, about 70 years ago. I haven't unintentionally taken a life since then. Yes, I was an apprentice once, albeit begrudgingly. My master deemed that I owed her a great deal, and she had decided that aiding her in her work and become her successor would be a worthy payment for our exchange. It's not like I had any other choice. What else was I to do? It was either that or... Anyway, yes, I was an apprentice. No, I didn't like being an apprentice, but it grew on me with time. That makes 3 questions down. 1 more left, dear. Use it wisely. You want to know more about me that bad? How fun. But that's going to be a hard question to answer without telling you too much. What was my life when I was a human? Well, I was certainly the academic type. I did well in school. I got onto the I did well in school, got onto the student council, graduated at the top of my class. I was always into science. That much wasn't dictated by my master. I had a knack for it even before I became a vampire. I remember growing up and wanting to help people. The specifics, and I can't go too much into detail. Though in some strange roundabout way, I suppose I'm achieving my goals. Just not how I wished 100 or some odd years ago. Would you look at the time? It should be kicking in any moment now. I'm glad I've got to pass a time like this. It truly has been a pleasure talking with you. I couldn't have wished for a more entertaining subject. It would have been a pain to try to come up with more questions after we had gone through the ones needed for my paperwork. I'm glad you took the reins on this conversation. I told you you only had 1 question left. I do think you've reached your quota. But I guess, since you were so cooperative as to eat breakfast with me, I'll let you in on a little secret. I am a liar. There was no scout's honor. Not here, anyway. The drug was in the oatmeal the whole time, darling. I knew you'd be hungry enough to eat it all. I was going to get what I needed one way or another. I'm just glad you made it easy for me. And the fact that I even admitted to drugging your food, and you still decided to trust me. It was precious. It's moments like this that allow me to make my job more fun. You are making my job fun. Seeing you, it's like you're reminding me what it's like to be human again. Though, I must admit, it's providing me with a little bit of a challenge. An internal dilemma, if you would. You've given me much to think about. It looks like you're almost asleep. I'm glad we've gotten to have this talk, human. I'll be waiting